Today I'm going to be upgrading my armrests. I'm going to be adding some padding as well as a nice stitched leather covering. First thing I'm going to do is remove these screws holding the armrest on. And I'm going to go ahead and remove the armrest like that. Here's what the armrest looks like when it's out of the car. I'm going to go ahead and remove the 6 screws from the bottom, then remove the plastic undercovering. The armrest is actually covered by this gel cover, so I'm just going to peel it back, and that will reveal a very thin and uncomfortable sponge underneath. The material I'm using to cover my armrest is actually a seat cover. That way I can ensure that it matches the interior of my vehicle. If you flip it over here, you can see it's actually genuine leather covered by a thick sponge. And if you use a utility knife, you can go around here and cut that sponge out to gain access to the leather material. And this is the leather that you get. One is like a nice perforated leather, and the other one is more of a solid leather. Next, I'm going to be measuring the armrests so that I can cut out my leather. I'm going to measure the width as well as the length of both the top pieces as well as the side pieces. I'm going to be doing perforated leather on the top as well as solid leather on the side. Make sure you overcut ½ inch extra for the double stitching along the seams, as well as 1 inch extra all the way around to go underneath the armrest. I've used a ruler and an X-Acto knife to cut out my pieces of leather. I'm going to be using 2 pieces of perforated leather going down the middle with some stitching, as well as 2 pieces of solid leather for the side of the armrest, again with some contrasting stitching. I'm going to start by stitching the 2 perforated leather strips together along the edges. Here's what the seam looks like. I'm just going to proceed to fold these edges over and run a double stitch along the seam. Now that I've got the double stitching done for the perforated leather, I'm going to go ahead and stitch in the side pieces. Next I'm going to fold this over and I'm going to double stitch along the seam. So here I've got the leather cover all stitched up with the double stitching. Next I'm going to turn the cover over and I'm going to trim these flaps. For the corners, I've actually notched out this section here so that I can fold this flap over and this flap over and stitch them together, forming a corner. Next I'm going to use 2 layers of the sponge material that came on the back of the leather and position them on the armrest to give me some extra padding. I'm going to secure the padding down with a little bit of hot glue. So here I've got the sponge on the armrest. I'm going to take my completed leather cover and slip that on and flip it over and work the leather around the armrest. I'm going to use a clip here to secure all the ends. This is what I have after working the leather a little bit. Just running some hot glue along these edges here and then fold the leather over. Just like that. So here I've got the completed armrest. Everything's glued and trimmed nicely. I can go ahead and put this back together. I'm going to reinstall the cover. Next I'm going to reinstall the screws. Here's what the final armrest looks like, ready to go back in the vehicle. Next I'm going to install the armrest into the car. Replace the screws. Leather padding is nice and soft. Finally, this is what the armrest looks like when everything is complete.